Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to mismapasion. And if you are expecting a balanced take and review about the Champions League final, then I'm sorry to say, but you're in the wrong place because my bias for the Arsenal red and white is going to be in full flow like Katie McCabe's drinking habits in today's video. Because unless you have not been in contact with civilization over the last couple of days, Arsenal FC are champions of Europe for the second time in their history. Yes, you heard that right. The Gunners somehow defied the odds in the court of public opinion and outclassed Barcelona to get their hands on the biggest continental prize in women's football for the first time in 18 years since they last did it. And though their encounter against fellow finalist Barcelona was lacking in goals, it more than made up for it in drama, tension, and heart-palpitating moments that had everyone watching live in the stadium and at home behind the TV screen gnashing their teeth in anticipation for something to happen. But not to get too ahead of myself, but we just got to get through to the match, and looking at it itself, it was as you would expect in real time as you would on paper. Barcelona had heaps and heaps of possession for the wannabe tacticals listening to this, as well as the field tilt being heavily swayed in the former holders' favor, and even just watching it play out, it looked like a matter of when and not if Barcelona would get themselves a goal. The Catalan front line of Pajor, Pina and Graham Hansen all had their fair shares of making the net ripple, but the Gunners' backline would not be rattled as time and again, and what would become commonplace during the entirety of the game, the likes of Williamson, Fox, Catley and Little came up clutch and regularly swept away any danger that came their way, which was really tough to watch in real time. The first net rippler would come the way of Arsenal when a ground cross from Monum was intercepted and bundled into the net by Irina Paredes that sent the entire Arsenal crowd into bedlam, but unfortunately their joy would be short-lived as Monum was ever so slightly offside, so some blushes had been indeed spared for Paredes and her team. This moment did prove pertinent though, as the game did begin to be a bit more open, with Arsenal gaining courage and actually managing to make Barcelona sweat despite the heroics of Katakoi in between the sticks to keep things level. The second half immeasurably delivered far more on the drama and tension, and this was effectively from the word go, as Barcelona came close not once but twice to opening the scoring with Pina and Bonmati narrowly fluffing their lines before Ona Battier fired one from range that just narrowly went wide. The first 15 minutes of this half was purely Barcelona's undeniable salvo testing the mettle and resolve of Arsenal, and it was the latter that came out of it by the skin of their teeth thanks to some good luck and good goalkeeping from Van Domselaar. With time ticking away, substitutions from both ends sought to give their respective teams an edge, and Barcelona were first, as you'd expect, to fashion another gilt-edged chance with Pau skying a sitter that Wolf had put on a plate for her. And this chance would nearly soon come to be ruled by Barcelona, as just 3 minutes later, Arsenal would be bombarding their defense with an imposing run from substitute Blackstenius, who nearly found the back of the net had it not been for Koye coming to the rescue of her team yet again. The back and forth would rapidly ensue, with both sides really giving it their all and looking for the edge to make themselves champions, and it would be at the stroke of the 74th minute where the deadlock would be broken, as after a corner routine that was snuffed out, Kim Little managed to win the ball back for her side, passed it through to Caldente, who found Mead waiting by the edge of the box, and the Arsenal number 9, who herself had come off the bench, thread the needle to get the ball to the feet of Blackstenius, who made no mistake to hand Arsenal the lead with just 15 minutes and extra time remaining to see what would come of the encounter. Despite some protests from the Barca players for offside, the goal would stand and time was of the essence for both sides, for Arsenal to hold on and protect their lead and potentially extend it if possible, and for Barcelona to draw things back level to at least push things into extra time. Every remaining second that passed was tense, pulsating, and fervent with animosity as this David and Goliath epic reached its shattering and epic crescendo. It would ultimately take 90 minutes and a soul-crushing 7 minutes of extra time for the sound of the referee's whistle to finally ring out for the last time at the Estadio Jose Alvalde to signal that indeed Arsenal were champions of Europe once again. Dry eyes were absent all across the stadium from the tears of joy rolling down the cheeks of the Gunners, their coaches, fans and family at achieving this insurmountable task, and the sadness and despair of the Blaugrana and their faithful for narrowly missing out on their fourth successive European crown. But football, as we know, has no favorites. And to the victors went the spoils. As in case you didn't know by now, as if I had mentioned it many times already throughout this video, Arsenal raised their hands and the Champions League title in triumph to an adulating sea of red and white, and the deserved celebrations that followed it from the players partying well into the night and the fans reveling in the glory of the massive achievement on Monday morning at the Emirates while serenading the heroes. And quite honestly, what a massive way to sign off your first professional season as a manager if your name is Rene Slagers. Having come in off the back of Jonas Edevel's very intense and quite disheartening departure, if I'm being honest, and tasked to get this Arsenal team back to the summit of women's football, it hasn't been an easy job, and there definitely still is massive room for improvement, but the signs of a true revival of a giant are well and truly there for all to see, and a bright and glorious future is definitely on the cards at Arsenal FC. And if anything is to go by just based on this performance and the team camaraderie and everything that goes in on it, this squad is definitely going places. And yes, as some of the players do begin to age out, like the likes of Little and maybe in a few years McCabe as well, obviously women footballers, they age much different than the men's footballers. Some of them can go well into their late 30s and 40s playing football. Time is undefeated, and yes, there definitely will be some turnover in the next couple of years, give or take. We will only have to see when the time comes for it to happen. This Arsenal team is definitely one for the future as well as the present. The core players that help to prop up the squad and the club as it is, they're definitely here for the long haul, especially when you look at the likes of Leah Williamson, who put in a man of the match performance, or woman of the match in this situation with her imperious and pivotal blocks in this game against Barcelona. She is definitely one of the many players who is going to be around to help navigate this new era for Arsenal, and hopefully she can be the guiding light for the other players as well, on the younger side of things, from Katie Reed to Naomi Williams to Rosa Kafaji as well, to see what really lies ahead for this team, not only in the present but also in the future. Because yeah, it's really an exciting time to be an Arsenal fan, and it's really going to be interesting to see where this club goes from this crowning achievement. Will they be finally able to overtake Chelsea and reclaim their pedigree on English soil? Or will they be able to go one better and get themselves another quadruple? It sounds very, I don't know, delusional, I guess, but stranger things have happened. And if this Arsenal team, who got walloped by Aston Villa and Brighton back-to-back, can manage to still gain Europe's most coveted trophy in the women's game off the back of it, you never know. Stranger things have happened, but you know, time will tell. And with that, 9 glorious minutes of pure glazing being done because I genuinely couldn't help myself, that is going to be it for today's video. And with the domestic season coming to a close in the women's game, for the most part, may I add, all that is left, of course, is the Women's Euros. That, as of this video going live on YouTube, is just 5 weeks away, 35 days away, so not a lot of time left to wait. And as you would expect, I will be covering all of the matches that transpire over there, from the opener to the final, so definitely keep it locked to this channel. And until next time, make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Arsenal.